Welcome to Castified. Imagine this. You're at a concert, totally lost in the music, maybe sharing a quiet moment with someone, then boom, giant screen lights up, camera zooms right in, and suddenly your private little bubble is just out there for thousands to see. But what if that moment wasn't quite so innocent? What if in literally seconds it spiraled into a global scandal?
That really sets the stage perfectly for what we're diving into today, the now infamous Coldplay kiss cam incident. And this wasn't just, a quick cringe moment on the Jumbotron. Not at all. It triggered this incredibly rapid cascade, immediate personal fallout, huge corporate consequences, and honestly, some really deep questions about privacy, how we act professionally, and just the sheer power of public opinion online.
Yeah, the power of the internet mob almost. So our mission today is to really unpack this whole thing. We've looked at the concert footage, the company statements, news reports, expert takes, all of it. We want to figure out how a few seconds on a screen could just spectacularly blow up careers and personal lives, and what lessons, if any, we can take away. Okay, so let's paint the picture. Where and when did this all happen?
Right. So it was a Wednesday night, July 16th, 2025, a Coldplay concert in Boston. Seemed like a totally normal concert night. The lights, the energy, thousands of fans just having a good time.
And in that crowd were the two main people involved here.
Exactly. Andy Byron, he was the CEO of a U.S. software company, Astronomer, and Kristen Cabot, who was the company's head of HR, chief people officer. People nearby, and what we saw later, described them as getting cozy, cuddling, snuggling, clearly very involved with each other, not just watching the show.
And then the kiss cam hits them. The classic concert feature, usually just for a bit of fun.
But this time, it landed right on Byron and Cabot. Captured that intimate moment, clear as day on the big screens. And then, Chris Martin, Coldplay's frontman, spots them.
Right. He weighs in. What did he say initially?
He first just said something playful, like, oh, look at these two. Standard kiss cam banter.
But their reaction wasn't standard, was it?
Not at all. You could see it instantly. Byron just abruptly pulls away, almost tries to, hide behind a barrier or something. It looked really panicked. And Cabot, she immediately threw her hands over her face, just pure embarrassment, or maybe more than that, mortification, really.
Wow. So Martin sees this unfold.
Yeah, and he picks up on the vibe, definitely. He then kind of jokes, but maybe it wasn't entirely a joke. Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. The crowd laughed, obviously, probably thinking it was just awkwardness. They had no idea what was really happening.
But that tiny clip, maybe 3-5 seconds max,
yeah,
it just detonated online.
Instantly. It got dubbed Coldplaygate almost immediately. And the internet just went into overdrive.
Why do you think this one went so viral? Kiss cams catch awkward moments sometimes, but this was different.
That's a really good point. I think it's a perfect storm, really. You had the clear shot, Chris Martin's commentary making it unmissable, but most importantly, their reaction, that visible panic, the desperate attempt to hide. It screamed that there was more to the story than just being camera shy. It lit the fuse for millions of people online.
And the internet detectives got right on the case.
Oh, immediately. Social media sleuths working together, trying to ID them.
And it didn't take them long to find out who they were, and, crucially, their marital statuses.
Exactly. That's what turned it from just embarrassing to a full-blown scandal. They found out Andy Byron was married to Megan Kerrigan, an educator. Some reports called her Rachel Byron, but Megan Kerrigan seems correct, and Kristen Cabot. She was married to Andrew Cabot, who's the CEO of Privateer Rum.
So the affair speculation wasn't speculation anymore, in the public's mind anyway. Both married, caught looking intimate at a concert.
Precisely. The visual evidence plus the confirmed marital statuses just cemented the narrative online.
And the personal consequences were immediate and brutal.
Yeah.
Especially for Andy Byron's wife, Megan Kerrigan.
Yeah, reports surfaced that she dropped the Byron surname from her social media pretty much right away. Then she apparently deactivated her Facebook and Instagram entirely. Not just because she wanted privacy, but reportedly because she was just being flooded with horrible comments, public shaming.
Awful. Just awful. It really fueled all the talk about their marriage being over, though, no official divorce announcement came right then.
Right. And you know how these things spiral online? There was even this wild, completely unverified rumor that the wife actually tipped off the cameraman to catch him.
Seriously.
Wow.
Probably nonsense, but it shows how extreme the online narratives can get.
Totally. It just became this massive online gossip fest, memes everywhere, mockery, criticism. It was trending on Google. It's hit a nerve when someone like Elon Musk gets involved. He actually reposted a fake apology meme, supposedly from Byron, just with a laughing emoji.
Ouch. That just pours gasoline on the fire.
It really does. And memes popped up using other famous faces, just embedding it deeper into internet culture. It wasn't just a news story, it became like a running joke.
And the trolling hit Byron directly, professionally too, right? On LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, his LinkedIn profile got hammered, so much so that he deactivated it. But, deleting doesn't really work online. Screenshots were everywhere. People were apparently finding old posts of his, even ones where comments were off, and finding ways to comment around them.
It just goes to show, once something viral like that is out there, it's basically permanent. You can't scrub the internet.
It's a really key takeaway. The internet archives everything. Screenshots live forever. For a leader, someone in the public eye, that digital footprint is a massive liability.
Which brings us right to the corporate fallout. Astronomer, the company he led, was suddenly in the middle of this huge public mess.
They had no choice but to react, and fast. The first big move, placing their CEO, Byron, on leave.
That's a huge step. It signals serious trouble at the top.
Absolutely, and it didn't stop there. Just 3 days after that concert, July 19th, Andy Byron resigned. He actually stepped down before the board could even launch its formal investigation. It felt like an admission, really, of how bad the situation was for the company's image.
Yeah, a recognition that the damage was done. And Astronomer's official statement was pretty direct.
Very direct. They said, and I quote, leadership standards had not been met. They talked about their commitment to accountability and their core values. It was a clear signal. This kind of public conduct wasn't acceptable for their leadership.
Who took over then?
Co-founder Pete DeJoy stepped in as interim CEO, to steady the ship. And the board didn't just leave it at the resignation. They ordered a full inquiry into the affair itself. How long had it been going on? What were the specifics? Both Byron and Kristen Cabot were expected to be questioned. Cabot was also placed on leave, and her future at the company was basically hanging on the outcome of that inquiry.
So they were really trying to get to the bottom of it internally. What's really interesting, though, is how the staff apparently reacted.
Right. Sources inside Astronomer suggested employees were actually happy he was gone. They apparently said he often created pressure and was not a good person to work with. People felt stress-free after he left.
Wow. That tells you something deeper was going on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like this public scandal just brought underlying issues to the surface.
Exactly. It suggests this wasn't just about one bad night caught on camera. It hints at maybe a pattern or at least a leadership style that wasn't working internally. It turned a PR crisis into almost an opportunity for organizational change, strangely enough. When public failure matches internal unhappiness, things can shift fast.
It's a huge reminder of the reputation risk for companies, isn't it? When leadership messes up publicly, it casts doubt on the whole organization. Brand image, investor trust, employee morale. It all takes a hit.
Definitely. And this case highlights a sort of new digital risk, too. It's not just about what a leader does, but how quickly the internet can amplify it, weaponize it almost. A personal moment becomes a global corporate liability overnight.
And the HR side. Oh boy. A CEO and the head of HR, both married. That's just layers of problematic.
It's an HR nightmare, plain and simple. Questions about fairness, bias, potential conflicts of interest. It's massive. How can employees trust HR if the head of HR is potentially compromised by a relationship with the CEO? It raises the possibility of lawsuits, bias claims, maybe even harassment if power dynamics were abused.
Yeah, the legal exposure could be huge. And the cost to internal trust is almost impossible to measure.
Exactly, which leads to that stark narrative we kept hearing. A 3-second clip ruined a $20 million CEO's life.
Yeah.
It sounds simplistic, but it captures that feeling of how fast things can fall apart. This guy had a long career, Lacework, Cybereason, BMC software, big roles.
And it was all just overshadowed instantly by 5 seconds of bad judgment caught on camera.
It's the asymmetry that's stunning. Years of work versus a fleeting viral moment. And the internet doesn't really do nuance, does it? It's spread everywhere. You mentioned the betting sites. Kalshi had odds on his resignation. Even other celebrities like Morgan Wallen were reportedly joking about it. There was just no escape.
So if you're caught in something like this, what do you even do? Hiding clearly didn't work.
No, hiding makes it worse. Experts usually advise facing it head on. Get a crisis PR team. Issue a statement. Own it somehow. Trying to just turn off comments or disappear online, it just lets everyone else control the story and fuels more speculation.
It also feels like a massive cautionary tale about, workplace relationships, especially between bosses and subordinates.
Absolutely. Even if it starts consensually, the power imbalance is always there. And if it goes sour or gets exposed like this, it's just catastrophic legally and reputationally for everyone involved, including the company.
So the big takeaway seems to be we're all kind of living under a microscope now.
Pretty much. Especially with smartphones everywhere, that seemingly private moment can become public in a flash with potentially huge consequences. It forces you to think about every action.
Yeah. And this whole Coldplay saga really drives home that point about public judgment versus private lives today.
It does. How a tiny snapshot, potentially out of context, can just obliterate years of professional work. It hits the individuals, sure, but it ripples out to their companies, forcing a hard look at leadership and accountability.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What does accountability even look like when a 3-second clip can redefine everything? How do we balance privacy and public scrutiny in this world where everything feels like it could go viral?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And one we'll probably be wrestling with for a long time as our digital and real lives keep blending together.